What's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode, and today we are talking about underrated wagons you never knew existed. This list right here is full of rare cars that you probably never heard about. But I'm gonna tell you one thing: the people who are purchasing these cars or who purchased these cars in the past are different. They different breeds, okay? So if you have any one of these cars on this list, salute, okay? Because you different and you definitely deserve to be acknowledged. But without further ado, let's talk about it. Bring it in. What's good, y'all? So you already know, before we jump into this video, I gotta shout out the merch. Once again, make sure you go to lowexcelsapparel.com. I got the shop set up on the YouTube page. Whatever you need, you can go cop. Hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, whatever you need is there for you, especially in this cold weather. Make sure you jump in, support yourself, support the channel, and do it fashionably, okay? But without further ado, let's get into this video. Number one, that would be a 2010 to 2014 Acura TSX Sport Wagon. This came equipped with a 2.4 liter, 201 horsepower, 170 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, what we talking? 8.1 seconds. So this is an Acura. You know what that comes with. Very good reliability. Issue here, this does not have a manual transmission. So because of that, this body style of this actual car didn't sell that well. They didn't make too many of them because of that reason. They knew this car had a very, very small market. And the market that they'd appealed to was people who didn't want an SUV but didn't want a sedan, but they needed some space, whether it be for family or space to travel, camp, whatever they needed to do. It was a very small segment of people who actually chose this car. And two things that let this car down the most would be lack of power from the engine and lack of a manual. So when you put those two together, you don't get the best fun car that you would think you would get. But this car was still very good when it came to reliability. This car would last, do as many miles as you needed to do. Some people got them today. Very uncommon, but again, the people that's on the list that purchase any of these cars, they smart. Make sure you get with them. Ask them a couple questions. Get in their circle. Learn what they talking about. Because I promise you, they ain't talking about what you talking about, because they doing things differently. But issues that you may run into: CV joints, electrical issues, ABS system, and the VTC actuator. If you are in the market looking for these, they are very uncommon, just like every other car on this list. But if you do come across one, you know it's an Acura, which is a Honda product. This is definitely going to serve you well, especially if you have the need for it. So make sure you get in the market if you want one, and find one and cop it, okay? Don't waste no time. But let's move on. Number two, that will be a 2001 to 2005 Lexus IS 300 Sport Cross. This car came equipped with a 3-liter inline 6, 215 horsepower, 218 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, what we talking? 7.4 seconds. This car also did not have a manual, y'all. I'm sorry. I know, y'all like, yo, why you put it on here if it ain't got that? I got you. Just relax. This car looked good. People liked it from the look aspect. Well, I can't say all people, but a lot of people did like it from the look aspect, but a lot of people didn't buy it. Why? Underpowered, no manual. But the fun fact with this engine, like we mentioned in previous videos, this came with the 2JZGE engine, which meant if you spent a little money on a certain amount of internals for this engine and you modded it to a certain capability, you could turn this into a 2JZ GTE engine and get great power coming out of this car if you did the right things. Now, mind you, that transition is not as expensive as you think it would be. It's way cheaper than you finding a Toyota Supra and modding it to what you wanted to do, in comparison to just finding this Lexus with that right engine in it and doing what you need to do with it, right? So you would have a better chance doing this than finding a Supra. So keep that in mind. This car was still good when it came to reliability. Again, very good. Issues that you may run into: coolant tank cracks, headlight leveling. Whenever you put the headlights on, it had like an automatic mechanism in it, and it would go up and down, and sometimes that would fail. and electrical issues. And this car, to me personally, it looks good. I don't know, y'all may be the judge, y'all may say something different, but this car always looked good to me, whether it was the sedan or this version. It's just this version is going to be super, super uncommon. If you come across it, yo, cop it. You gonna have you a super in the cut that's a station wagon? Who doing that? Ain't nobody doing that today. You have people that got the regular IS 300 sedan. You have people that got the SC. Nobody got the Sport Cross. You feel me? Who doing that? Now again, there's gonna be some money you have to spend to make it get to that capabilities of a Toyota Supra. But that's little stuff. You got to look at the big picture, okay? The big picture is I'm going to be different. I'm going to have something that nobody else has, and it's going to be authentic to me and what I like. So definitely keep that in mind. But let's move on. Number 3. You already know this is one of my favorites right here. That would be a 2005 to 2007 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 9. This came equipped with a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, 286 horsepower, 289 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, what we talking? 4.7 seconds. Guess what? You already know this came with a manual. We talking about an Evolution here. Now, I gotta burst your bubble real quick. You can't get this if you live in the country of the United States. If you don't live here, yo, you better cop this if you find it. This car was already super rare, super limited numbers when they actually came out with this vehicle. A lot of people didn't know it existed, especially me. I found out this car existed a few years ago, and it blew my mind. Fun fact, the Mitsubishi Evolution, especially the 9, was always really one of my top 3 favorite cars of all time. Because to me, personally, it handled all aspects of whatever you needed to do. It could be a rally car. It could be a tuner, super modified tuner car. It could be a practical car. It could be a fun, light, tossable car. Yo, you could beat it to the ground and it's going to be reliable. Like whatever you wanted to do with this car, it could do with a smile on its face and your face. You feel me? So this car to me always has stood out. I'm going to own one eventually. You know, it's just one of those that you got to spin the block for and go ahead and cop it. But this car right here as a station wagon, as a wagon, is different, y'all. As you see, the rear looks completely different. If you seen this car from behind, you would not know what it was until you seen the front. And again, everything else really translates into the sedan version of this car. So other than the rear end, you would never know, or the shape of the car as well. But it's an Evo 9, like you can't beat that, y'all. It was above average to good reliability, okay? Still a Mitsubishi at the end of the day, and it's Mitsubishi in their prime. Issues that you may run into is clutch wear, transmission issues, and transfer case problems. But once again, like I mentioned before, if you do live in the United States, I'm sorry, but you cannot get this yet. There will be a time, and it's coming. It's just not yet, right? So be in tune for that. And if somebody cop one before I do, you're going to have to see me, man. I'm sorry. You're going to have to see me. But let's move on. Number 4, that would be a 2005 to 2006 Mercedes-Benz E55 AMG wagon. This came equipped with a 5.4-liter V8, 469 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, what we talking? 4.1 seconds. So, it's good and bad here. No, we didn't have a manual, but we did have a V8, okay? Now, this Benz right here, I'm sure y'all do know about Mercedes-Benz wagons, especially in today's society, in today's time, but this one right here was more rare to me personally. You didn't see a lot of these on the road. A lot of people did not speak about these, and if they did bring up the E55s like I've done in the past, we mentioned the sedan E55s. We don't mention no station wagon. Nobody talk about no wagon, right? But again, look at this. You can get rear seats in the back, all the way in the back of the car, basically in the trunk. You got rear seats you could pull from the ground and prop them up to be in the trunk. Now, mind you, it might not be the most safest to put somebody back there, to be honest. But yo, like, just attention to detail. Come with cup holders in the 3rd row seat. Now, yeah, you're facing glass, and that's dangerous. But again, it's just the thought that counts, right? You can fold that right back up, put it in the ground, and you got space again. practical, to do whatever you need to do. And you still got a V8 under the hood. So wherever you going fast, right? Quality material in there, quality leather, quality comfort. Like I mentioned before, they don't make Mercedes like they used to. But this one right here is the one that you would want to get if you had the opportunity. It still look good, especially to me. Maybe it might not look good to you, but me personally, this is like the end. This was like coming down from the peak for Mercedes, but like it wasn't done yet. Now we just all over the place. And Mercedes still make good cars here and there, but they're nowhere near what they used to be. And this car to me was like their last great thing, you know, like their last great product. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but I personally do love that car. And I love this wagon too, because it's just different, y'all. It's different. Now, when it came to reliability, it was average to above average reliability, surprisingly, right? From a foreign, you wouldn't expect it. But issues that you may run into is the airmatic suspension, the supercharger, gasket leaks, and electrical issues. So by far, just dealing with order cars on this list, this one will be the most expensive to maintain. It's a foreign. I'm sure y'all not surprised, but it's still going to be very fun. And so far, this is the only V8 we got on this list. So you making noise when you pulling up wherever you go. And it's just official, y'all. Nobody got it. So I think if you do get an opportunity to cop that, you better jump in it, because you probably not going to get another one, right? But I digress. Let's move on. Number 5, that would be a 2011 to 2014 Cadillac CTS-V wagon. This came equipped with a 6.2 liter V8, 556 horsepower, 551 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, what we talking? 3.9 seconds. So this right here, guess what? It come in an auto or manual. I got y'all, whatever y'all need. V8, auto, manual, switching gears, making noise. Come on, you really can't beat it. Now, a lot of y'all may know about this car, but a lot of y'all may not. Now, if you don't, let me remind you, or let me enlighten you. This right here was different. I gotta be honest, right? Anytime I seen this car, this is the first car that I've ever seen as a kid where I'm like, I looked at the person who was driving it and I'm like, yeah, he's having a lot of fun in life. Like he's doing something right. Something that I don't know a lot of people aren't fond of. A lot of people are not doing what he's doing, because this guy has said, you know what? Hey, honey, I'm going out. I'm going to get me a car. Okay, what you going to get? I'm going to get me a sports car. Okay, one of those nice, coupes, Ferraris or whatever. Nah. Or a nice sedan, a little AMG, little, Audi, whatever. Kinda. I mean, he come back with a CTS-V wagon. To me, it's just different. Like you think differently if you driving one of these. Like, this person has to be financially stable, and they have to be smart financially. Me personally, I don't think there's any dumb person driving a Cadillac CTS-V wagon. They don't coexist with each other. Like, it's almost like smart financial decisions are synonymous to this person who owns this car. And if any of y'all own this car, jump in the comments below, because you may prove my point. And if you prove me wrong, I will be very surprised. This car is different, y'all. If I had the opportunity to cop it, I'm in it all day, every day. I'm sure you is as well. It does everything you need to do. The reliability is above average. Issues that you would run into is rear axle leaks, transmission issues, camshaft issues, and electrical issues. So not the worst, not the best, but above average. So something like that in a car like this, what more can you ask for? It has everything you need. It has the space. It has the sound. It handles decently well. It's not too heavy for what it's worth, right? Of what you're getting. It looked good. Nobody else has it. Like, what more do you want? Like, come on, you could do whatever you want in this car. It's crazy. It's legendary. I don't think anybody that has owned this car has been frustrated with just, I don't like driving that. You know, unless they just had bad luck and it was terrible for them, I really don't believe there's anybody out here that really had an issue so much with this car where they could say, yo, I hated that car. Like, this car it's a legend. It's different, y'all. So that's my list, y'all. Top 5 underrated wagons you never knew existed, but you already know how I do. I always got to drop a bonus on y'all. And the bonus of the day would be, this is a stupid red one, y'all. Like, it's stupid. You ain't gonna get it. That would be a 1994 to 1996 Audi RS2. This came equipped with a 2.2 liter 5-cylinder, 311 horsepower, 301 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, we'll be talking 5.4 seconds. So this is super, super rare, y'all. Good news, it did come with a manual. Only manual, technically. This car was ahead of its time. This was Audi's first attempt at making a really sports car, a really sporty wagon, I should say. This was Audi's first time making a very sporty wagon. This was also tuned by Porsche. So when this came out, Porsche was in talks with them, and they was all coming together, and they like, yo, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Like, what's up? They put their twist on this car, and with that twist, you came out with this. And it was a great car. It looked good. It looked different today. Like, it's not the greatest looking Audi you've ever seen, but it's still classic. It's still timeless. The interior is still timeless. I'm sure you know someone who actually owned this car. If you know, just get in the comment section below. I ain't even got to mention it. But this car right here is just rare. This is one of those things, like, you get this car, you put it somewhere. This is like a collector's item, because nobody out here is really going to ever be driving one of these. Now, you can import these. They weren't made in the country of the United States, but if you import it, you got you one. You got a rare one. But this car was definitely different. It looked good. This is something that you could jump into if you got the right bag and you got the right connections and enjoy it, right? It's definitely rare. You ain't got to worry about nobody else pulling up next to you with the same thing. When it came to reliability, it was average, but this car is very old. So anything that hasn't broke already will break, and anything that hasn't been replaced already needs to be replaced. So of course, keep that in mind, but I'm sure y'all already know that. Issues that you may run into was the transmission, the turbo wastegate, the suspension, and the timing belt. Once again, not the craziest issues, but they are going to be costly, especially when they go out, and it is a foreign vehicle, so you definitely want to keep that in mind. But this car was very rare. I think it's very authentic, and I think whoever were to look for this car to purchase seriously, to own, I really do believe y'all would enjoy it. You know, unless you just don't really like the old school type of stuff like that and you want something more modern, maybe, but I don't think you would really be too disappointed with this car. But that's my list, y'all. You already know, if it was up to me, what am I going with? I gotta go with that Evolution, y'all. I have to. I gotta go with the Evolution. And next on my list is that CTSV. They right there. But again, I'm not sleeping on that Benz though. You can't go wrong with the Benz. That's like the big three right there. That's the big three. But I gotta go with the Evolution first, just because that's my childhood dream car. Maybe not the wagon in particular, but just that car in general. I've always loved that car. It's definitely personal for me. And the other two, no question, if I had an opportunity, I would definitely pull the trigger on one of those as well. So y'all get in the comment section below. Let me know what y'all will go with. Once again, if y'all are looking to mod your car or tune your car, get in the link in my description. I got deals for y'all. Jump in there, check to see what you need, what you want. Get it for the low, get it sent to your crib without breaking the bank, okay? That's how it should be, and that's how I got it for y'all. So definitely jump in there. If you like this video, you already know, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe, and just like that, out of here. Peace.